Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. You know, one thing that it's not very popular to be in society these days is a man. And I get it, we're pretty terrible. I mean, we're responsible for most of the violent crime. We've started almost all the wars. In fact, if something bad happened in history, men pretty much did it. It's just the way it is. I accept that. It's also not popular to be a white man. That's actually less popular. And once again, not complaining, we know what we did. But when is it time to let bygones be bygones and start judging people by what they do now and what they do as individuals instead of what their people did or their ancestors did? I think it's about time we do that. But in this country right now, it seems like all men are being held accountable for the actions of all men throughout history. And we're being treated like being a man is a bad thing. In fact, there is a concerted effort in this country to emasculate or feminize all men in this country. It's obvious. We see it all the time. I see it every day. We're being taught that, just because some masculine traits can be toxic if taken to an extreme, that being a man in general is just bad. It's the last thing you want to be. And like I said, this country is actively trying to take away anything that would make a man, trying to demonize anything masculine. And before anybody jumps to conclusions here, I'm not talking about drag queens or transsexuals or teenagers and how they identify and what their pronouns are. I don't mind any of that stuff. In fact, I'm always like, hey, you do you. As long as you're not trying to force something on me, I don't care what you do. In fact, I can respect your difference. In fact, I always say it takes a real man to put on a dress. My grandfather said that once, and I always remembered it. He was talking about Milton Berle, but I apply it to drag queens. It takes a real man to put on a dress. It takes a set of balls, pardon the expression there, to be different in this country. So I applaud all of that. And teenagers doing the pronoun thing, that's just teenagers being teenagers. I don't care. I will be respectful of how anyone identifies. I don't care. I will be accepting. And I ask those people out there to be accepting of being accepted and don't ask to go to the next level and have reality suspended. But like I said, I will be respectful. I won't judge you by how you dress, how you live your life, as long as you're not hurting anyone. I won't judge you by how you identify or what your pronouns are. I mean, I'm not in any position to judge. I dress like a homeless person. I identify as a self-proclaimed internet gun expert. And based on my comment section, my pronouns are cuck and fag. So like I said, I'm not in a position to judge anyone. So that I have no problem with. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about when I'm saying that America is being emasculated, American men are being emasculated and feminized, it's mostly by the gun industry. And they're doing this by trying to convince people that 9mm is an acceptable caliber for men to carry. It is not. It just isn't. It's a wussy caliber. This is a European caliber. It's NATO crap. They're forcing this stuff on us from, these tea-sipping, beret-wearing people are shoving their caliber on us. This is a country that invented .357 Magnum, .44 Magnum, or at least 10mm, and we should carry 9mm. That's acceptable for a man. It's just not. Like I said, that's European stuff. Now, that round might be fine over there. I think the average European man is about 5'6", weighs about 90 pounds. And they pass out if anyone uses a cross word with them. So 9mm is probably pretty effective over there. But here in America, we're made of sturdier stuff. 9mm is not acceptable. Now, I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. It's a good range caliber. And it's great for, children's guns or frail old ladies that have whatever that disease is, where they got brittle bones. So it has a place. It's just not as our primary carry round. Yet the gun industry has been trying to make it our industry standard. And they're getting rid of better rounds to do it. It's like they're in collusion with the government. You know, they've said to the government, we know you don't want the population being armed, but we got to sell guns to make money and sell ammo to make money. So how about we compromise and we just phase out good calibers and just sell people 9mm? That way we've made money because they bought guns, but are they really armed? I mean, they're 9mm. So I think they're in collusion with the government because, like I said, they've been trying to shove 9mm down everybody's throats. And like I said, that is not acceptable. Now, if you are a man carrying 9mm, don't get your lace panties in a knot. I'm not judging you either. Maybe it's not your fault. Maybe you had your genitalia ripped off in a horrible jazzercise accident in the 90s, and you really don't have any other choice. But for people who still have their balls and their penis, for men who still have those, I assume most of those would be men, 9mm is just not appropriate for you. And there are better calibers. I mean, we developed the 10mm. To me, 10mm should be the primary caliber for the American gun market. But I understand that 10mm is a little intimidating for some people, so we do need a compromise round. But it doesn't need to be the 9mm. We had the perfect compromise round that the industry should be built around. It was the 40 Smith & Wesson. But like I said, the industry is phasing it out because it's too masculine. They don't want people to have it. The government doesn't want people to have it. It's a conspiracy. They're trying to kill the 40 Smith & Wesson. Manufacturers aren't offering guns in it anymore. It's really hard to find decent ammo anymore. You know, they're still allowing things like 357 Magnum and 44 Magnum and 10mm to exist because they know there's not a whole lot of people buy them. We'll just make the guns more expensive, or they're just in low capacity revolvers. So we're not worried about that. But with the 40, people were actually having good guns with good capacity with a capable round. So we'll just phase that out. And it was common. So they're phasing it out. Well, I, for one, want to stand up to this feminization of American men and demand that the 40 not only be brought back into popularity, but it should be the standard. It should be the industry go-to for guns. If you buy a gun and it's just like everyday average new model gun, it should be a 40, not 9mm. Like I said, we're not a bunch of T-sip and beret wearers, like I said earlier. We should have a manly caliber, the 40. That's why I am starting a movement here to bring back the 40 Smith & Wesson. If you're old like me, you remember back in the 70s, there was a very popular campaign called Save the Whales. It was very successful. It really tugged at people's heartstrings, raised awareness, did a lot of good. So I want to do something similar. So I am starting a campaign called Save the 40s. I am asking everyone out there who, like me, wants to be a manly man, to be vocal, be visible, be heard, be seen. Demand that the 40 become the American standard. Call gun manufacturers, call ammo manufacturers, call your congressman. Demand the 40 be brought back and instated in its rightful place as the primary caliber for this country for handguns. It's something we need to do. We need to be seen. We need to be heard. We need to let people know we're not going to stand by and let them just take away everything manly. Turn us all into a bunch of little girls. Not going to let it happen. Not to say anything bad about little girls. Most of them can handle 10mm. They don't need 9mm. So join with me in this effort to bring back the 40 Smith & Wesson. In fact, if you want to be even more visible, you can go over to my webpage, tympistolproject.com. There's a link in the upper corner of this video. You can buy yourself a shirt so people can see that you are part of the Save the 40s movement. You can get yourself a coffee mug so people at work can see you're part of the movement. You can get yourself a decal for your car so people in traffic can see you're part of the movement. There's even a magnet. You can put it on your fridge just to remind yourself you're part of this very important movement. And don't get me wrong, this movement is very important. This is not just about saving a caliber that I particularly like, which I do. It's about saving our masculinity, saving our manhood. So join me in demanding that the 40 come back. Join me in my Save the 40s campaign, because like I said, this isn't just about a caliber. This is about possibly saving our entire species as a whole. None of that stuff bothers me. That little click there. He nowadays is a man. God damn, if you're white or whatever. But, fuck that up. We know what we did. And one thing else, showing, what am I fucking talking about? You know, one thing that is not possible, queens, welcome to another edition. Some aspects of the things we do are pretty terrible, but, you know, gotta get the shit together.